Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and I've got a really good episode planned for you today. And still heavily engulfed in the NBA playoffs, I'll say. So this is not quite a matchups episode. This still pertains to the playoffs nonetheless. If you've already seen the thumbnail, then you know exactly what direction I'm headed into. But before I dive into the content, do me a huge favor, man. Like the video. Liking the video helps us cruise along algorithm avenue. Helps us, when I say us, I mean the channel and the content, get into the presence of individuals such as yourself who might be interested in this kind of content. Also, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to be notified as to when my newest episodes are uploaded. Man, I'm diving right into this one. I am entitling the episode itself, Jokic leads playoff stats in 4 categories. Man, it's an incredible thing to watch Nikola Jokic play basketball. I feel like in this era, is he the most athletic center I've ever seen? No. Does he have the best footwork I've ever seen? No. Does he have decent footwork or good footwork though? Yeah. Is he quick, nimble? You know what I mean? Like, can he run fast, jumps the highest? None of that stuff. No. But I feel like his skill set is a very honed skill set. I can appreciate how he plays the game at his own pace, his game speed, the way he thinks the game, and thus plays the game is admirable, and it's certainly entertaining by and large. And so, for a Nikola Jokic in this era of almost positionless basketball, I say almost positionless basketball. And it's just because I can remember an era in time where, there were positionally, these dominant players or greats, dare I say, that, were heavily praised, respected, and touted as being, it, right? At the varying positions. And now we have in this present generation, I'll say, far fewer big men than I can remember in the NBA. And so in an era where the big man, it's just not me saying it, but I've heard this said, several times, but in an era where the big man is kind of dying off or, not featured in the offensive sets here in the NBA, for a guy like Jokic to just kind of do his thing, the question that, or, debate topic that would typically come up is like, could he do this in this era? Could he do this against a Shaq? Could he do this against Hakeem? Could he do this against a Ewing? Could he do this in, the early 80s or in the 70s? And I think that the answer is yes. Not every big man was Hakeem Olajuwon in terms of footwork, certainly not every big man was David Robinson, being able to take the ball off the dribble and kind of stretch, offensively outside or beyond 15 to 17 feet. And so I think that Jokic has the perfect blend and combination of all those things. And as a result, he is present day leading the NBA playoffs, the 2025 NBA playoffs to be exact, in 4 statistical categories, which we're going to get into here really quickly. But before I do that, I do want to acknowledge the NBA playoffs, as I just mentioned, wherein we see coming up later on this afternoon to be exact, the Oklahoma City and the Denver Nuggets will face off in a pivotal Game 7 to decide which of these 2 teams will represent or go on to the Western Conference Finals, and match up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who defeated the Golden State Warriors. We have seen some amazing basketball being played. I have witnessed some amazing basketball being played. I guess I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself and say that I've seen some amazing matchups. From Minnesota, who I just referenced, they defeat the Lakers in 5. They come back and defeat the Golden State Warriors in 5 as well. So they slayed LeBron and Luka. Come back, slayed, hobbled Golden State Warriors team that included Steph Curry on the roster and also Jimmy Butler. And then, now they just, after punching their ticket to the Western Conference Finals, they're sitting back waiting on the winner of this matchup versus Oklahoma City and Denver, the Denver Nuggets. Man, Oklahoma City was a number one overall in terms of record and point differential and a whole bunch of other, statistical margins this year, or statistical categories also, were not just leader in the NBA, but historically, they had a really historic run this season. And, record wise, they were the number one overall team, best overall team in the association. Oklahoma City, the expectation, as far as the odds makers are concerned, is that they will win a championship this year. They were the odds on favorites, or are the odds on favorites to win it all. Rightfully so, deservedly so. They have their star player being Shai Alexander, who is the odds on favorite and has been the odds on favorite to win MVP this season. Deservedly so, based on their incredible record, their incredible play, and dare I say dominance this season in the NBA. They are squaring off against a Denver Nuggets team that is hobbled, came in, kind of limped their way down the stretch, and fired their coach, Mike Malone. Mike Malone, who was the coach when they won the championship a few years ago, fired him just 4 games or so before the regular season ended. And so presently, they are being coached by young Adelman, son of former NBA coach Rick Adelman. I say young Adelman because I can't remember his first name for whatever reason right now, but I'll just say Adelman is their coach, interim coach, who served as an assistant at the time under Mike's regime. And at this point, Adelman has won more playoff games and coached more playoff games than he won regular season games or coached regular season games. So his playoff resume is looking much better than his actual regular season coaching NBA. But I just wanted to share that little tidbit and then say, this Denver Nuggets team, man, they have a really, really good storyline working. They have a really good storyline working from, the factors that I just mentioned, which is having fired their coach and GM, Calvin Booth, at the end of the season, like before the season even began, knowing that you have to mentally prepare yourself, the players need to be mentally prepared, the coaches, that like everything, there just need to be clicking on all cylinders physically and also mentally. And for them to have the success that they found through defeating the Clippers in the first round to now possibly, or being on the brink, I'll say, of defeating the Oklahoma City Thunder that I just gave their flowers to prior to this, man, is quite the impressive, set of accomplishments to come up, building out a decent resume for 2025 NBA playoffs, and also doing something that is quite monumental. If Denver makes it past Oklahoma City today, and I have no idea how this game is going to be played, I think it's a coin flip if Aaron Gordon is healthy enough to play in this game, like he after tweaking his hamstring. If you guys didn't see that a couple nights ago in Game 6, the Game 6 Denver win to tie the series to send it to a Game 7 today. Aaron Gordon came a little lame toward the end of the game, somewhere in the last minute or so, tweaking his hamstring, man. He's gotten treatment. They had an extra day off. So hopefully that treatment has helped, man, and Aaron can give us all and give us go, because it's a coin flip if Aaron Gordon can play in today's game and be effective. If not, Oklahoma City should win this game easily, because Aaron Gordon is definitely necessary in terms of his contribution for Denver in order for them to be successful. So if Denver knocks off Oklahoma City today and makes it to the Western Conference Finals, gets over the hump like they did last year, knock off the Minnesota Timberwolves, and go back to the NBA Finals, man, oh man, what a storyline, you know what I mean, in terms of being able to talk about them and just charting those things that I just spoke about, and maybe some that I haven't even really put together yet. because the story is still being written. So it's kind of hard to tell a story prematurely before its end. However, moving right along, man, I want to dive into these stats because I said we're talking about Nikola Jokic leading the playoff stats in four categories. First category that he's leading in is in total points. You can see he scored 347 total points in the playoffs, 323 points for Jalen Brunson, 292 for his teammate Jamal Murray. But total points scored 347, man. Nikola Jokic is dominating in points. Um, as a scorer, in this league, it's not even in the series versus Oklahoma City, I guess I'll say, he hasn't had a stellar scoring, performance in each of these games. So it's this, we're just talking cumulative amount of points. And, I think that obviously for him to be leading all playoff scores, putting the ball in the hoop, just speaks to his proficiency over the course of games, man, just consistently being able to do a thing. So man, I have a tremendous amount of respect for his offensive skill set, his ability to stretch the floor and shoot the three, where he does let a few fly a game. I love that he's not just so in love with the three that you'll see him classically jacking up 5 to 7 threes a game. And I mean, if he did, quite frankly, I don't think that that would be a bad thing given his ability to knock them down. It would only be a bad thing because every game he would he would knock them down. So it would be like, bro, why you out here just jacking up threes? Focus on the other parts of your game, the most effective parts of your game, which he does a great job at doing. So kudos to Nikola Jokic for leading the NBA playoffs in overall points. We've watched second runner up on this list, Jalen Brunson, man, put in some work, put up in some amazing offensive, games, and put on a show offensively in so doing, in a few valiant comebacks in that Boston series where they were down 20 twice and then down 14. And Jalen Brunson being voted also clutch player of the year in the NBA. I'm not sure when this clutch player of the year award came about, but man, if you could put that title or that ball cap on anybody's head to call him clutch, it's certainly Jalen Brunson. Um, but yeah, some really good basketball games, from him, from an offensive standpoint. So it stands to reason that with what we've witnessed, to see Jokic sitting at the top of that mountain so far statistically, just makes sense. Next category that Jokic leads the NBA players statistically in is rebounds. 169 total rebounds snagged for Nikola Jokic. Next closest player is 124, Karl Anthony Towns. So that's 45 rebounds more than the next, top rebounder. 96 in third place is Chet Holmgren. Again, as I said, for him not to be nimble, not to be quote unquote, athletic in the traditional sense, for him being Nikola Jokic, him to not be the quickest of foot, you know what I mean? Like to barely jump off the ground, you know what I mean? Like literally, it's been said, joked about, he can't jump over a phone book. He couldn't jump over a curb. Like he rarely dunks. I think they keep track of his dunk counter every season, and it's like under 10. Like this dude is not. I mean, he so rarely dunks the basketball. That's a 7 footer. It's crazy, But rebound is not about who can jump the highest, And so that's why I can appreciate the rebound stat, because rebounds are about effort. Rebounds are about positioning. Certainly about boxing out occasionally. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I picked up a lot of rebounds in my basketball days, just understanding the fundamentals of kind of what to do, watching the basketball, figuring out where it was being shot from. So the likelihood of the ball coming, you know what I mean? Like in certain ways, some things that I picked up from Dennis Rodman, just watching him as a young basketball player. And so rebounding is a big deal, and if you can do so with proficiency, board man gets paid. So 169 rebounds for Nikola Jokic, who's an incredible rebounder, man. It's in tonight's game. I feel like, man, he's definitely gonna have the rebound, and or he's gonna need to put together one of those stellar 20 games potentially, man, for them to walk away with this game, especially given that Aaron may not be able to go at 100%. But that is Nikola Jokic in the playoffs with his rebounds. Next, that category that he leads the NBA playoffs in is assists. So it's not only is he scoring, not only is he rebounding better than anybody else, but he's also dishing the rock better than 2 point guards on this list. Tyrese Halliburton, who has 7 more assists than Jalen Brunson at 86. 105 assists dished out for Nikola Jokic. Why is this impressive? Some would say it's not impressive at all because, well, his ability to dish the rock, notwithstanding, which I think is a big deal. They'll say, well, it's just his PER. It's the way he's used. It's his usage rate that is contributing to like how many assists he actually does ultimately dish out. I mean, that's true. He is running a non-traditional point center role on the Denver Nuggets team. And so you'll see the ball. I mean, you will see him literally in defensive positions where a defensive rebound is obtained by one of his teammates or him himself. If he grabs it, he'll just take it full court, dribbling the ball to initiate the offense. Or you'll see one of them grab a rebound and kick the ball to him in the backcourt, and then he's bringing the ball across half court, setting up the offense for the team. So, his usage rate is incredibly high, and it puts him in a position, yes, to dish the rock, but he's really good at it. He's really, really good at it. And clearly, the statistical proof is right in your face. Yo, I really, really, really like this basketball player that is Nikola Jokic. He's not my favorite big man of all time. He's my favorite big man in the league presently, though. He's my favorite. This dude's a beast, bro. And I love watching him play. Anytime I get to see him televised, like later on today, it's always just a treat to watch what he delivers. Rarely does he shrink in the big moments. So hopefully I'm not jinxing him and he doesn't shrink today. But I just wanted to give him some flowers just in case the televised game today is the last one until next season. Last but not least, Nikola Jokic also leads the NBA playoffs in steals. Not nimble, not traditionally athletic, can't jump over a telephone book, doesn't play any defense, like super slow. Most people say like he doesn't play any defense. You can't get 28 steals without playing some defense because steals are like a defensive stat. And they're not stopped, so it's not like he's getting blocks and then recovering the block and then, you know what I mean, like getting the steal for that reason. And the dude's actually, I mean, we're watching him clean pick, dribblers, and so he's a decent defensive player. He is not as big a defensive liability as some would like to make believe that he is. But he's not a defensive player of the year candidate in any season by any stretch of the imagination. But man, imagine if he was. Holy shit. He'd be literally the most complete big man in the world if he was just a smidge of a stopper, of a rim protector, of, oh my gosh, man, this dude would be he would be he would be legendary, you know what I mean, in a different, sense of the word. But 28 steals in this year's playoffs for Nikola Jokic, 22 for Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, his teammate. Mikal Bridges' teammate, speaking of, has 20 steals. The Knicks definitely hang their hat on their ability to be scrappy, feisty, tenacious defenders. And so for Jokic to be sitting at the top of the steals heap, you know what I mean, and not be on one of those teams that have a defensive identity, I think is a big deal, man. A lot of people will give hate to Nikola Jokic, and they have this season, and I get it. I get it. Maybe this is stemming from like seasons prior, and I just don't understand that, or I've just been kind of, oblivious to that. But I can understand like some of the hate that he's receiving this season is because, folks just want to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander win the MVP so badly, especially feeling like he got snubbed last year. And I think every year that you that you have this MVP, balloting and the war handed out, there's always this controversial somebody, got robbed, et cetera, which Shea will win this year. And because Jokic's statistics, not just playoffs or regular season, were better than any of the other seasons that he was awarded the MVP, people will say he got robbed this year too. And so it just happens, you know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. But yeah, I don't know why people hate him so much, bro. They I think that they really need to take more time to appreciate what Jokic is doing. He's only 30 years old. Um, his time will be up soon enough, man. And this brand of basketball from a big is incredibly special. And man, it will be missed when his skill set is put on wax. You know what I'm saying? Put on ice for the remainder of his career. Speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Nikola Jokic, though. The Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Denver Nuggets today in a pivotal Game 7. As I said, man, I am definitely looking forward to this series getting unknotted and the victor being, awarded the opportunity to play in the Eastern Conference Finals against their opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who's just sitting back waiting to see who it is they need to start scheming and game planning for. Oh, the money line, according to the odds makers at FanDuel Sportsbook, no, they do not sponsor this channel. So I am not encouraging you to gamble. I am not telling you to patronize their business. I'm just giving credit to where I got the odds from. The money line is plus 270, so a dollar gets you 270. This is as these graphics were put together late last night as well, so the odds could have changed a bit as you're watching this episode. I'm not sure what the odds will be specifically, but check. But as again, I was kind of checking the odds. The Thunder are favored by 8.5 points in the game, over under 213.5. I'm not encouraging you to gamble. I'm just saying that if I was gambling, because I'm sharing the odds, this is what I would do. I would definitely take Denver with the 8.5 points today. I mean, Denver has to win the game in order to move on to the next round, correct? And so does Oklahoma City. So I imagine it'll be a dogfight. I imagine it'll be a dogfight. If you have confidence that Denver will just take this game, then man, jump on that money line. I don't think it will be a bad deal to do so. Um, Denver is a more experienced team. I said this in a previous episode where I did not think that if Denver won Game 6, I'm sorry, if Denver would have won Game 5 and gone up 3-2, I didn't have a lot of confidence in the Oklahoma City Thunder to resiliently fight back in Game 6 to force a Game 7, because I just felt like the mental aspect of the chess match would get them at that point. But Denver would lose Game 5 and go down 3-2. I expected them to fight back in Game 6 to force a Game 7. So the cards have kind of flipped back for me into the Denver Nuggets, favor, because they've been here in these pivotal Game 7s before and fought through them. They have experience. They know they know what's good in these situations, and Oklahoma City has yet to prove that they can win in this kind of a situation, but there is no time like proving time. And this is definitely proven time. So nobody does it until they actually do it. And so Oklahoma City, I do acknowledge, gets an opportunity to do so today, which should be incredible. Over under 213.5. Yeah, this game's going way over 213. This game's going over 213.5. So I mean, again, you can't lose by taking the game over, by taking Denver with the 8.5 points, and also, or rather, just trying them out, man, straight up on the money line to win the game. Bring on Game 7, man. I will definitely catch you guys in the next episode. That's been the basis of this one in particular. I'll catch you in the next one where we'll detail obviously what happens in this game, as the end result, dive into the stats and the box score, etc. I'll share my opinions and my takeaways. Also set the stage for the impending Eastern Conference Finals as well, which will see the Indiana Pacers take on the New York Knicks. I purposely did not talk about them in this video because I want to save it for the next one. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode, man. Until then, take care of yourselves. Blessings.